Hi there, and thanks for tuning in to Wednesdays with Wit. I'm Whitney, and today we'll be discussing reading and listening lists. First off, did I throw you off when I said listening lists? If so, then you definitely got to catch up with the times because there's lots of ways we can consume media in auditory ways, such as YouTube, podcasts, Clubhouse, the radio, all of these different ways, and many more. So today I want to talk about first, what are you reading? And then secondly, what are you listening to? As you're reading, you'll want to consider a few things. First, once you're thinking about the books in which you want to read or the items that you would like to read, you need to think about your career as well as your personal development. So in terms of career development, what types of books are you reading? Are they new information that is being released in your industry? Whom are the authors or the researchers? How are they delivering the message? And then as you think about your personal development, we all have areas that we want to grow in, right? Nobody is perfect. We're all human. And being a human means that life is messy, so we have room to grow. So think about the areas that you think you're weak in and that you would like to further develop, or areas that you're strong in and you would like to continue and leverage and learn how to boost or strengthen them even more than they already are. You want to consider the sources in which you are receiving media. Are they biased? Are they one-sided? Do you need to hear the other side of the argument? Is it new and up to date? Has it been recently published, or is it like years old? You definitely want to be aware of that, especially if you're looking into research. So, what am I reading, you ask? Well, let's see. Okay, I feel like this is one of those videos where I have like so many goodies, so I just pulled off like a shelf of books, but I want to share them with you. And I'm actually going to share books that I have read in 2020 and that I'm tapping into now. So I'll show you a little peek of all of those. Let's first start with personal development. So in the realm of personal development, I read this book, The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up by Marie Kondo. It was amazing. I'm already a very organized person, but this book like took my organization to another level. So after reading this book, I redecorated my closet. I got rid of some things that did not bring me joy, or I thanked items that, had served me well, and I loved and cherished those things. And then, I separated and parted ways with those. So definitely recommend this book. Then another book, I led a small group and we read the Michael Todd's Relationship Goals, and it has a study companion, and you can write in it. So hold on, let me show you what I'm talking about. I don't know if you can see, but you can write on those questions. So I really enjoyed this book as well. Just learning about the foundations of a strong relationship. And so, in all types of relationships, not just romantic relationships. And then a dear friend gave me this one, Rediscovering the Saints. And so I read this. It took me a while, even though it's a short read, but how the chapters are divided up, it goes over 25 different saints and 25 different questions. And so I really enjoyed reading that. I was recommended this book of the 4 Agreements. And so I thought that this was very interesting. And the 4 Agreements are super powerful. And so they were: be impeccable with your words, don't take anything personally, don't make assumptions, and always do your best. This is kind of a quick read. But I thought that those were just very strong pillars to include in your life. I don't know if I mentioned this, but I'm currently reading this one, Codependent No More. It's pretty good too. Okay, so now let's look at my professional reading list. So the books that I read last year started with Strength Finders. So I really love this book. It's based off the Gallup's 34 Strength Report. Highly suggest you take it if you haven't. I'm just a full believer in focusing on now your strengths rather than your weaknesses. And so just analyzing my different results and learning more about my strengths professionally. I always kind of just describe different things about myself as my little quirks, or this is something that I just like. But there's this assessment really gave me the language to describe the things that I'm good at. So my top 5, just in case you want to know, are strategic, achiever, learner, maximizer, connectedness. And so, if you know me, that's Like, that's such a read. That's exactly everything, like, who I am, in terms of, like, strategy. I'm always thinking about the future and making these connections and winnowing down information. Achiever. I love to learn. I'm a big to-do list, checklist type of person. I have an agenda. Learner. I'm always, like, as you can see, reading something, listening to something, learning something from somebody. You can always learn more. And the world is just, like, such a beautiful place to me, to learn so much more about. And then, maximizer, anybody who's traveled with me, like, or anybody who hasn't traveled with me, my close friends and family, they know, like, she is going to maximize every second. Like, if there's goodness, I'm going to take it to as much as I can, like, push it all the way to the limit. So I definitely see my maximizer. Like, if I'm with time, I'm a quality time type of lover too. Like, I take over people's whole day. Like, I'm that type of person. I'm that friend. Like, pack a lunch. We're going to be together for a while. So totally a maximizer. And then that connectedness, I definitely feel a human connection with, like, everyone that I meet, and, that we're all in this together, and it's all, like, some greater, bigger purpose that we don't know that's unfolding. So love, love, love this book. Totally recommend it. If you haven't taken the Gallup Clifton Strengths Assessment, please do so. The another book that I read was Dare to Lead by Brene Brown. I actually read, like, several of her books last year because I listened to them on audio, but we'll talk about that on the audio part. But yes, this is a really good book. I loved how she helped me winnow down what my two values were. And so for myself, my two values are spirituality and growth. And so, again, giving me more language to the things that, like, really fuel me. Another book I read was The 4 Stages of Psychological Safety. And so this book was talking a lot about, inclusion, and then how if you have an inclusive environment that fuels more innovation. And so I really love that because I definitely am a creator. And I read Emotional Agility. And this one was a good one too because I liked reading about how, like, your mind works. So, like, how to outsmart your mind and how to trick your mind and how to get unstuck on certain things because, definitely I can get stuck on some things or get my mind fixed on a certain way, and it's like, no, just pause for a second, you can regroup. And then another one was The Empathy Effect. Really, 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 really enjoyed this book, and it talked about, making that human connection, and then the different ways that we make that human connection to demonstrate empathy, and then how that draws us to others. So, it's like kind of fell in line with my connectedness part that I was talking about. So yeah, I really like this one as well. All right, and then, I know I said 2 categories. I said professional and career, but I also just, like, have a couple that are just, like, I just have them out all the time. So one that I have out all the time is my Jesus Calling. I love this devotional. It's my favorite devotional. So it's a devotional for each day. I just like how, each day is written, and it really feels like it's hitting me each day. So I really love that. I've actually gifted this to several people because I, like, love it so much. A good friend gave me this one, Instant Calm. It's like 2-minute meditations, but it's through the 5 different senses. And so I really like this one as well. Just to, like, take a minute, pause. Like, sometimes I'm on go, 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 get it done. And this one helps me slow down, pause, and just, like, give yourself that little minute of self-care. Like, it's going to refuel you for the fight that you got coming up. So I really like that one as well. And then, of course, my Bible. I keep this. As you can see, it's pretty worn because I've had it for years. But I actually use the Bible app a lot more than I actually use my physical Bible because you can save different things, highlight different things, and use different tags. So those are probably my top reads that I want to share. Now, let's talk about listening lists because I have listened to so much stuff. Like, I listen while I'm running or walking, while I'm in the car. Like, a lot of times I don't even listen to the radio, like, for real. I either listen to my own music or I'm listening to, like, a podcast. So I'll have to give you the rundown of my listening list as well. Okay, so for my listening list, I've got to go back to my phone because I cannot remember all of them. So if you go to the Free Public Library, they have access to ebooks, and sometimes they have the audio of that, and so then that's how I listen to books. But you can also get, like, an Audible and all those different accounts, but I use the Free Public Library. Anybody who knows me knows that I, like, spend my whole life in the library, it feels like. Whether it was in my doctoral program, whether it was undergrad, I spent a lot of time in libraries. So I just just, utilize my library subscription. So, one book that I listened, well, actually, there's so many. Ooh, there's so many. Y'all are gonna be like, what in the world, girl? But I like being outside. I like long walks. And I like walking and I like running too. So it's like, and I like riding my bike. So all these different activities. Sometimes I'll be like, I have my headphones in and I'm like listening to a book. So there's multiple ways to get it in. Or if I'm like cooking in the kitchen and I'm like meal prepping, I'll also play it out, over a speaker in the house. So different ways that you can continue to consume media and receive that content, but not necessarily like sitting down reading. Okay, so I'll try to like flash some cute pictures up, or maybe I should do this. Flash some cute pictures up. I think it's on this side. Flash some cute pictures up for you all so that you can see the different books, titles, and things like that as I do a rundown of them, and I'll try not to be like too long. So the first one is the Unapologetic Guide to Black Mental Health. It was amazing. I really liked it. And she is a lead researcher in mental health. And I think she's out of Texas. But yes, check her out. And she's a psychologist, Dr. Walker. Great book, great read. And it was like an easy read that like walks you through the different type mental health issues, things like that, and ways to, and it gives you like solutions. So I really like that. And then, so you want to talk about race? I actually have this book, like the actual hardback. But before I had it, I listened to it on audio book. And let's look at the other list. I told y'all this list was long. Don't judge me. Women Who Run with Wolves. I love that. It's all about the wild woman archetype, which I feel like I fit, where it's just like you're looking for freedom. And so I just love that. That's like everything that I am. And Tamed, which was a really good book. I thought she was hilarious. The author actually read it herself. So, just like hearing it in her voice was really funny. I listened to so many Brene Browns. I really like her work. She's also a very dope researcher who deals with a lot of shame research. So, I just really appreciate it. But I listened to her Rising Strong book. Her Rising Strong is a spiritual practice book. Yes, her Daring Greatly. Then Braving the Wilderness. All those like great reads. And then The Gifts of Imperfections. That was awesome. Like all of Brene's hit. Like I loved all of them. There was a hit for me. Then I read Boundaries by Dr. Henry Cloud. Really good. So that's what I'm listening to in terms of books. Now, let's talk about what I'm listening to in terms of podcasts. I listen to a lot of different ones, and sometimes I might listen to just one episode of a series, or like if I have a friend or someone that I know who is working on that podcast, or might be, the guest for that particular episode, I'll listen to just maybe that one off, or I might go through the list and see which ones like kind of interest me or that I might think are cool. But these are the ones that I like subscribe to and follow pretty closely, and I'm like waiting for their weekly drop. My favorite podcast is Up First. It gives you the worldwide news like in 15 minutes. Another podcast I listen to is Civil Liberties Minute. They are dope. It gives you, what is the latest civil liberty fight in like a minute or less. So, or it's like, I think it's 2 minutes actually. But it's like really good. And it gets straight to the point so that you can understand what is happening and how laws are changing. Code Switch. I love Gene and Shireen. Those are the two podcast hosts. As you can tell, I act like I know them. But it's all about the idea of code switching. So learning about diversity and diverse people and groups. So right up my alley again. I really like On One with Angela Rye. She's dope. Love following her work. Love her political commentary. And then I really like Seen on Radio. I think his name is John Bewin, but he works with the Duke University, and they put together these really good like series. So they have one on men, they have one on seeing whiteness, they have one on democracy. Like check it out. It's a really, really solid series, and he gives you like questions, and listening guides you can follow along. So that's really good. And then there's these two chicks that I really like. They're at the West Coast. It's Battle Tactics for Your Sex's Workplace. I like them. Like, they're just funny, and they put in my mind things that I'm not thinking about that I've just like kind of accepted as status quo. So I love that because it kind of puts me on to new things. And then in terms of like my personal, what I just like kind of listen to is Therapy for Black Girls. Dr. Joy is amazing, and she has like a cool Instagram, so like check her out. Wild Black Podcast, they have lots of different guest speakers each time, so I really like the different topics. I learn about new stuff, like some stuff I'm into, some stuff I'm not. A podcast by Essence is called Unbossed, so it's all about like women and leadership, things like that, so I love it. Of course, Oprah Super Soul, like who doesn't love Mother O? I do. So I grew up on her as a child. She, my parents would watch her show. And so, listening to her podcast is just, I feel like it's the same thing sometimes. So I just love that and love her wisdom. Ciao. Who knew I was going to say that many words? I didn't know this video was going to be that long. I'm so sorry, y'all. But the moral of the story is, just think about what you're reading and what you're listening to, because you can definitely be consuming some media that is healthy for you, that is leading you towards your right goals, and you can also be consuming things that are not. If anything, I would love for you to take away that we have to be intentional about what we are consuming. Any types of media we consume, whether that's reading or listening, we're always receiving a message. And so what is the message that we are receiving? Is it spurring us toward goodness? Is it spurring us to a better improvement of ourselves? Then if so, continue on until you feel full. If not, then you make sure that it is aligned to your personal and professional goals, the media and the content that you're receiving. So think about your personal goals, your professional goals. What things are you wanting to change? What things are you trying to learn more about? And align your reading and listening list to that. I hope this information has been helpful. If you think that this particular Wednesday Wit was awesome, please like, share, and subscribe. And until we meet again, take care.